Welcome back to Podcasting Learning, where we bring you stories, tips, and lessons to help you improve your English every day. Stay tuned to learn from his experience and pick up some new English vocabulary. Today, we're going to talk about something that can happen to anyone: scams. Our story is about Alex, a young man who thought he found the opportunity of a lifetime. But things weren't quite what they seemed. Today, we're going to talk about something that can happen to anyone: scams. Our story is about Alex, a young man who thought he found the opportunity of a lifetime, but things weren't quite what they seemed. Alex had always been ambitious. Growing up, he was the type of person who constantly searched for opportunities. Whether it was working extra shifts at his part-time job or selling products online, he always had a goal in mind: to build a life that would allow him to be free from financial stress. For years, Alex had been trying different side hustles, but none of them quite worked out the way he wanted. They either required more time than he had available, or they simply didn't generate the kind of income he hoped for. At 28, Alex felt a growing sense of urgency. His friends were settling into stable jobs, some were even buying houses, and while he wasn't struggling, he wanted more. He dreamed of traveling the world, buying his own home, and one day, starting a family without worrying about money. That's when he started exploring online income opportunities in his free time. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Alex found himself scrolling through social media while half-heartedly watching a documentary in the background. He wasn't paying much attention to anything until something caught his eye. It was an advertisement, and in big bold letters it said, "Earn $5,000 a week from home. No experience required." It piqued his interest immediately. He'd seen ads like this before, but something about this one seemed different. Maybe it was the polished design of the ad, or the fact that it had a video thumbnail with a smiling man holding a check. The text below the video read, "My life changed in just 30 days. You can do it too." Alex's heart raced a little. He thought, "Is this finally the breakthrough I've been looking for?" He clicked on the ad, which led him to a sleek website with testimonials, pictures of happy people on vacation, and claims that anyone could achieve financial freedom by following a simple, step-by-step program. The website was full of professional-looking videos and even had a message from the founder of the program, a man named James Dwyer. James was a charismatic speaker, confidently explaining how he had cracked the code to making money online. All Alex had to do was sign up for the program, and he could be well on his way to making thousands in just a few short weeks. The website promised that there was no catch, no hidden fees, and no need for special skills. All Alex had to do was invest $500 to gain access to exclusive training and insider knowledge that would set him up for financial success. What made it even more tempting was the countdown timer at the top of the page. It said, "Act now. This offer expires in 10 minutes." Alex felt the pressure building. He didn't want to miss out on something that could change his life. He glanced at the clock. It was already past 10 p.m., and he had work in the morning. But the thought of waking up and being one step closer to his dreams made him click on the Sign Up Now button. As he filled out his personal information and entered his credit card details, Alex hesitated for a moment. A small voice in the back of his mind warned him that this seemed too good to be true. But before he could second-guess himself, he clicked Submit. The website instantly thanked him for his payment and told him to check his email for access to the program. The rush of excitement filled him with hope. Alex imagined himself, a few months from now, sitting on a beach with his laptop, earning money while sipping a cold drink. It felt like his life was about to take a major turn. The next morning, Alex woke up early, eager to check his email. There it was, a message from the program, welcoming him as a new member. It included login credentials and a link to access the first training session. He clicked the link, entered his information, and was directed to a dashboard with various modules. The first video introduced the basics of making money online and was hosted by none other than James Dwyer. Alex felt reassured by how professional everything seemed. The video spoke about different strategies for generating passive income, and it promised that the following modules would dive deeper into the specifics. Over the next few days, Alex devoted most of his free time to going through the modules. But as he watched each video, he noticed that they were mostly vague and filled with motivational speeches, rather than actual, concrete strategies. The program suggested vague things like setting up affiliate marketing websites or starting an e-commerce store, but it never gave detailed instructions on how to do these things. There was always talk of advanced techniques that would be revealed in later videos, but after completing 5 modules, Alex still hadn't learned anything truly useful. Despite his growing frustration, he convinced himself that maybe the good stuff was still coming. After all, he had spent $500, and he didn't want to admit he might have wasted it. He reached out to the program's customer support to ask for more specific guidance, but all he received were generic replies telling him to be patient and keep following the steps. Then things took a darker turn. One morning, Alex tried logging into his account to continue the program, but the website wouldn't load. He tried refreshing the page, thinking it might be a temporary issue, but after multiple attempts, the site remained down. He waited an hour, then 2, then the whole day passed, and the website was still offline. Confused and concerned, Alex sent another email to the support team. This time, there was no response. By the next day, the website had completely disappeared. The domain no longer existed, and every attempt to contact the support team or James Dwyer resulted in dead ends. Panic began to set in. Alex started researching the program online, looking for reviews or any signs that this had happened to other people. That's when he found a string of forum posts from other users who had experienced the same thing. One post in particular caught his eye. Scammed by James Dwyer's Get Rich program. Beware. It was like a punch to the gut. The reality of the situation hit Alex hard. He had been scammed. All the red flags were there, but he had ignored them, blinded by the promise of easy money and the urgency of the countdown timer. He felt a wave of emotions: anger, embarrassment, disappointment. How could he have fallen for something so obvious? He had always considered himself cautious, yet here he was, $500 down and nothing to show for it. For the next few days, Alex couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. He replayed the entire process in his mind, wondering how he missed the warning signs, the flashy website, the countdown timer, the vague promises. Everything pointed to a scam, but he had been too caught up in the fantasy of financial freedom to see it. As Alex reflected on his experience, he began to realize how common these types of scams were. With the rise of social media and online marketing, it had become easier for scammers to prey on people's hopes and dreams. Alex wasn't alone. There were thousands, if not millions, of people who had fallen for similar schemes. Determined to turn this painful experience into something positive, Alex decided to take action. He began researching more about online scams and how they worked. He learned that many scammers use psychological tricks to manipulate their victims, such as creating a sense of urgency or offering promises that seem too good to be true. The more Alex read, the more he realized how sophisticated some of these scams could be, and how easy it was for anyone to fall for them. Alex started sharing his story with friends and family, warning them to be cautious of anything that promised quick and easy money. He even wrote a blog post about his experience, detailing the red flags he had missed and offering tips on how to avoid falling for similar scams. To his surprise, the post gained traction, and people started reaching out to him, thanking him for raising awareness. Some even shared their own stories of being scammed, which made Alex realize that this was a much bigger issue than he had initially thought. Over time, Alex's anger and embarrassment turned into a sense of responsibility. He couldn't undo what had happened, but he could help others avoid the same fate. He became more involved in online communities that focused on scam awareness and consumer protection, and he made it a personal mission to educate people about the dangers of online scams. Looking back, Alex realized that while the experience had been painful, it had also been a valuable lesson. He had learned the importance of doing thorough research before investing in anything, and he had developed a much more critical mindset when it came to online opportunities. Most importantly, he had found a way to turn his negative experience into something positive by helping others stay safe. Though the road to financial freedom would still require hard work and patience, Alex was no longer in a rush to find a quick fix. He knew now that there were no shortcuts to success, and that real progress came from steady effort, not flashy promises. He continued to pursue his dreams, but with a new sense of wisdom and caution. In the end, the scam had taken $500 from him, but it had given him something far more valuable: perspective. As the weeks passed, Alex slowly moved on from the sting of losing his $500. He threw himself into more reliable ventures, putting extra time into his job, building new skills through online courses, and exploring legitimate freelance opportunities. The thought of getting rich quickly no longer appealed to him in the same way it had before. Instead, Alex began to appreciate the value of hard work, discipline, and consistency. It wasn't as glamorous as the life-changing promises he'd been chasing, but it was real. Every small victory felt earned, and with each step he regained the confidence he had momentarily lost. Yet, even though he had learned his lesson, Alex couldn't shake the feeling of responsibility toward others. He knew there were countless people just like him, people looking for a better future, chasing dreams of financial freedom, and unknowingly walking into the same traps he had fallen for. He thought about all the money and time lost to scammers like James Dwyer and wondered how many lives had been derailed by these false promises. Motivated to take action, Alex decided to dig deeper into the world of online fraud and scams. He spent hours reading articles, joining forums, and even speaking to professionals who worked in cybersecurity and consumer protection. The more he learned, the more alarmed he became. Scams were not just limited to flashy websites promising easy money, they were everywhere, from phishing emails to fake investment opportunities, and they targeted people of all ages and backgrounds. One day, Alex stumbled upon a group of scam victims who had banded together to form a community focused on raising awareness and providing support for those who had been swindled. The group was called the Scam Watchers, and they held regular online meetings where members shared their stories and helped each other recover emotionally and financially from the experience. Alex immediately felt a connection with these people. They were all driven by the same desire to prevent others from making the same mistakes. He began participating in their meetings, sharing his own story, and listening to others who had been through similar ordeals. Some of the stories were heartbreaking. Elderly people who had lost their life savings, students who had fallen for fake scholarship programs, and even single parents who had been tricked into sending money to fake charities. It was clear that the impact of these scams went far beyond the financial loss. They shattered trust, caused emotional pain, and left people feeling violated. Through this group, Alex learned how to report scams to the proper authorities and became familiar with organizations like the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and the Better Business Bureau, BBB, which actively worked to combat fraud. Inspired by the group's dedication, Alex decided to take his involvement a step further. He began volunteering to help new victims navigate the process of reporting scams and recovering from their losses. He helped them document their experiences, gather evidence, and file complaints. In doing so, Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. It wasn't just about helping people get their money back. It was about restoring their confidence and reminding them that they weren't alone. Over time, Alex's efforts gained attention. His blog, where he chronicled his journey from being scammed to becoming an advocate, began attracting more readers. People from all over the world reached out to him, sharing their own experiences and thanking him for raising awareness. Alex's story was even featured in a local news segment about online fraud, where he was interviewed about the importance of educating the public on how to identify and avoid scams. One of the most fulfilling moments for Alex came when a young woman, Jenna, contacted him after reading his blog. Jenna had recently lost $1,000 to a fake online coaching program and was on the verge of giving up on her dreams of starting her own business. She was devastated, feeling like she could never trust anyone online again. Alex spent weeks guiding her through the recovery process, helping her report the scam, offering emotional support, and encouraging her to keep pursuing her goals despite the setback. Slowly, Jenna regained her confidence and decided to move forward with her business idea, this time with more caution and wisdom. Helping Jenna reminded Alex of why he had started this journey in the first place. He realized that while scams and fraud would always exist, so too would the power of community, education, and resilience. By sharing his story and offering support to others, he was making a tangible difference, even if it was just one person at a time. As the years went by, Alex became a well-known advocate for online scam awareness. He collaborated with consumer protection organizations, spoke at events, and even created a podcast dedicated to educating people about online safety. His mission had grown far beyond his personal experience. It was now about empowering people to protect themselves and their loved ones from falling victim to scams. Reflecting on his journey, Alex often thought back to the night when he first saw that flashy advertisement promising $5,000 a week. It had been a painful mistake, but in many ways, it had also been a turning point. It had opened his eyes to a world that desperately needed more awareness and protection. It had taught him the importance of skepticism, critical thinking, and the value of working towards something real and meaningful. In the end, Alex learned that there are no shortcuts to success. The path to achieving your dreams requires effort, patience, and integrity. It's easy to be lured in by promises of quick wealth or instant success, but true progress comes from hard work, persistence, and learning from your mistakes. And so, the moral of Alex's story became clear. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Beware of those who offer you shortcuts, for success is built on the foundation of honesty, diligence, and resilience. In life, as in all things, it's better to take the long road and reach your destination with integrity than to chase illusions and end up lost. Alex's journey was not without its setbacks, but in the end it had made him wiser, stronger, and more determined to help others avoid the same pitfalls. What began as a moment of weakness and desperation had evolved into a lifelong mission of empowerment, education, and integrity. And that, Alex realized, was the true meaning of success. Remember, Alex learned his lesson the hard way, but you don't have to. Always stay cautious when something seems too good to be true. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Podcast English Learning. And as always, keep learning, stay curious, and be smart online.